Hello everyone, it's just Daryl here, and today I want to talk about the Schedule 1 lawsuit, or lack thereof, because basically, to sum up something that I've noticed, people are talking about this lawsuit that doesn't actually exist yet. It's actually just an investigation at this moment in time. I don't really blame people for jumping to conclusions because the creators of Drug Dealer Sim, which is the game that is suing Schedule 1, uh, it was said for a while that, they were looking into copyright infringement, which usually means that they're looking for something to sue about. And like some of the articles that I've seen have even like added on that like the studio came to the conclusion that the copyright infringement was there and they are looking into possible legal routes for them to take. Before I get into the rest of the video, I'd like to thank people for subscribing to the channel. Reaching 200 subs after hitting 100 is pretty insane. Like, I doubled my sub count in 1 or 2 videos, and I gotta say that's unusual for me. It feels pretty weird. So if you'd like to help with that some more, just feel free to like, sub, all that. Don't feel pressured to. I'm just happy that you're laying your eyeballs on my content, or I guess ears, since a lot of what I do is talking. Anyways, back to the video. So the publisher of Drug Dealer Sim, Movie Games, alleged that Schedule 1 had infringed on copyright, despite the fact that they didn't really want to provide any proof on that. And as someone who's played both video games, I can attest to the fact that there's not really that much similar about them. So I myself, from a surface level, really couldn't see what they stole or like what they infringed on, because from my point of view, it's just a similar genre, so some things will be done similarly. So like I just don't believe for even a second, like even before it came out that there wasn't a lawsuit yet, that they had actually done anything. Like, the lawsuit itself is baseless. There is no way they could go into a court and argue that a game in the same genre is copying them, when in reality, it's just doing things similarly to what you would do in other games of the type. That's not even to mention, there's a bunch of other games like that, and not once have they went after them. So it's most likely a case of this game is really popular, and they want to try and make a buck off of any potential lawsuit. But like I said, there isn't actually a lawsuit yet, and I'm going to explain that a little bit. So from all accounts that I've seen, it was the game developers of the game itself that came out and said this, and not actually a representative of movie games. In editing, I am aware they could be one and the same since they are under them, but essentially they were saying there wasn't a lawsuit yet, and they are just looking into things, and they aren't looking to prohibit the sales of Schedule 1, which is kind of jarring compared to the last thing we saw about it, because it was pretty aggressive in comparison to this now really friendly demeanor they're taking towards the developer of Schedule. I don't know if this is true per se, because they could just be saying this. Like, realistically, they have no reason to want to lie other than to look better. But the developer of Schedule 1, as far as I have seen and I've looked into, hasn't really confirmed or denied this at all. Most likely talking to lawyers and all that. Just in like the worst case scenario that, they do go ahead and try and do this lawsuit. But again, there isn't a lawsuit yet. It's just an investigation to see if there needs to be one. And unless like the developers of the drug dealing sim games are stupid, or the publisher above them, because allegedly the publisher is doing all of this and they didn't even consult the developers of the game, which by the way is very strange, because how would you even know? Odds are they are just assuming because it's a popular game and they maybe saw a thing or two. Their eyes got a little red, they started tearing up a little. This game's more popular than our drug dealing game, so we need to try and get some money out of this because this is bullshit and unfair. Honestly, that's my working theory, because this new response does not make a lot of sense in the context of the previous one. And if what they're saying is true, that they didn't even consult the developers of the game first, either the developers are lying to save face, which I really doubt they are, or the publisher is just irresponsible and they got a little, tight-fisted around a wad of cash while they were watching this game do well, and they decided that they wanted a piece of that, even though they weren't really entitled to it, so they wanted to try and find something, which they're not going to, because there's nothing that you can really sue this game for in terms of like copyright infringement. It's just a similar genre. If not, it is the same genre. It's a drug dealing game. This almost reminds me of an ancient case that you may have heard of, it's PUBG versus Fortnite. Another situation where the developers of a game wanted to sue another for making a similar game in the same genre. And it's just, of course, it didn't go well for them in court, and they didn't win because Fortnite is still one of the biggest battle royale games there is. Even if I don't like it myself, I have to give it credit where credit's due. And it also reminds me of Nintendo's lawsuit against Palworld, which, albeit I think there's more wiggle room there to say there is some copyright infringement, like some models having exact copies, at least from a glance, and a few other things that I really don't want to go into because this video is about Schedule 1, not the Palworld lawsuit. But it's just a trend as of late for publishers or studios to just, get really upset and like not want to actually do their due diligence and investigate, and they like want to just get into that lawsuit as soon as they can, because I don't think they were going to do a thorough investigation. I think they announced that, saw the backlash, and decided, you know what, we need to like back up a little bit, and we need to like actually find something to present to these angry people who think we're just being assholes, because like they are. It's my personal belief that they were just going to go ahead with it until people, fought back against it. It's also just a really sneaky thing to do. So like right after you have this announcement that you have found something that gives you reason to pursue further legal action, that you then have another post where you go into like, oh, you have no ill will towards them. You don't want to prohibit them from selling the game. But like, isn't that what this lawsuit is? Like, are you going to try and make them change stuff? It's not a friendly thing. If you're going to be an asshole, at least be straight up with it. Don't try and hide behind this vague moral conviction that you're not going to like prohibit them from selling the game, because like what? It's a lawsuit. It's very unfriendly. Like, is the Schedule 1 developer supposed to just sit back and be like, "Oh, thank you guys for not prohibiting the sale of my game and having no ill will towards me"? You're suing the developer. Like, stop being a pussy. Just be an asshole. The only thing I hate more than an asshole who is just doing something because they're envious is an asshole who wants to gaslight people into thinking they're actually fine. They're the nice guys. They don't mean any harm. When like, yeah, it's a lawsuit. I have played both games, and Schedule 1 is infinitely way more fun and more laid back. It even has a different art style altogether. It's just a better looking game, and it's more enjoyable to play than the first or second drug dealing game. It's just way better, and they're just envious because they can't make a game even half as good or reach even like a quarter of the audience that Schedule is reaching, because this is a game that is beating out stuff like Monster Hunter Wilds and other AAA games right now. And like, they're envious of that. They wanted to be that, but they weren't, and now they're upset. And instead of trying to, put that into their next game, they want to just get revenge for something that the developer didn't even do. It's just insane. You have to like gaslight yourself to get to that point of like irrationality. It's been a trend for a while now that if someone makes a really good game, that other developers will talk bad about the game and talk about how unreasonable it is to make a game to that standard. Like Baldur's Gate 3, people were coming out left and right who were game developers, publishers, all that. And you're talking about how Baldur's Gate 3 sets an unrealistic standard. I hate to tell most developers this, but like Baldur's Gate 3 should be the standard. We should get games of that quality every time. And then you have other developers, when Elden Ring comes out, talk about how it doesn't have, quality of life features or anything like that. But like, again, instead of like focusing on this like love towards a game, be like, oh, okay, so like maybe we should do that when we make a game. We could like make a game that's a little like that. We could try and make something good. Like, instead of focusing, that energy of like just hatred and vitriol and just envy, they just want to be pissed and like sulk instead of like actually making a game that could compete. Because a lot of these people who were talking about it really could. Like, you have the guy behind whatever it's called, the boring ass PlayStation robot dinosaur game, where like he was talking bad about it, how it didn't have a good user experience. But like, that's not true, because people enjoyed Elden Ring, and I think user experience is just enjoying a game you're playing. It's not a bunch of other useless shit. It's just depressing because that developer, the Horizon Zero Dawn one, I had to Google it real quick because I didn't remember that boring ass game. I played it, by the way. It's just boring. It's not very good. Um, they can make games that are actually, of high quality, like Elden Ring or even Baldur's Gate, but they just don't want to, and they want to make excuses as to why they can't. And it's just really depressing because the games industry could be amazing if developers would actually take accountability for the fact that they aren't actually that good at making video games. I don't really have much else to say. I don't want to talk much more about it because honestly, it is making me a little sad just thinking about all these games we could have if, studios, developers, publishers, I don't really give a fuck. I don't know. Just people who make video games aren't involved with them. We would have a lot more if they would actually just take accountability and would try their best to make something with love and passion. But yeah, I don't really know. It was just Daryl, and hope you stick around. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that. If you like more content from me, be sure to do that. It's the easiest way to, make sure you don't miss an upload from me. But yeah, I'm out.